Morning, everyone. Once again, I welcome you in another session of the control systems. Today's lecture is all about the transfer functions. What are the transfer functions? How to create the transfer functions, and also we will look about the block diagram reduction technique for finding the transfer functions. The reference books have been given to you. That is the I.J. Nagarath and M. Gopal of Control System Engineering, which has been published by New Age Publications. There is another foreign author, that is the Ogata, which is written for who has written the Modern Control Engineering with the Prentice Hall of India. Now, moving further, I would like to discuss the basic things which we are going to discuss about today's lecture. That is the block diagrams, basic elements of the block diagram, what are blocks, what are the summing points, what are takeoff points, what are series connections, parallel connections, feedback connections, block diagram algebra for summing points, and all. So without wasting much time, let's start with the transfer function representation. Now, what is a block diagram? You can see that there is one diagram which has been shown over here, which is having consisting of several blocks representing the complete control system. So we have discussed that this is a closed loop control system in which we are having one input as the RS, CS as the output, GS is the plant equation, and HS is the feedback block. So therefore the block diagrams consist of a single block or a combination of blocks, as like we have seen in this one. So they are used to represent the control system in a pictorial form. Now, what are the basic elements of block diagram? There are several basic elements of block diagram, like the summing point, like the takeoff point, then we have the blocks, then we have the feedback path, then we have the uh, disturbances which are not been shown over here, then lot of other elements which are being discussed later in this section. Now, above block diagram consists of two blocks having the GS and the HS. In this, it is also having one summing point and one takeoff point. The arrows indicate the direction of flow of signals. The RS, this arrow is defining that this is the input towards the summing point. The feedback path is also being feedback into the summing point. The output of the summing point is being defined by this arrow, which is also called as the error signal. The error signal is being sent to this plant equation or the plant block. Then it is been sent, the output of this block has been sent to the output, is been defined by the output. Now, the transfer function of component is represented by the block, and the block has single input and single outputs. Now, look at the summing points. The following figure shows that a block having a XS and output YS and a transfer function GS. Now, look at this. This XS is the input, and YS is the output, and GS is the transfer function defined in S domain. Now, if I write this the transfer function for this block GS, I can write it like YS upon XS. That means the transfer function is the ratio of the output upon the input. It is the ratio of the output upon the input, that is YS equal to GS into XS. That means if I write the output equation for this, I can write it like this: the multiplication of the transfer function with the input. So this will give me the output equation. Now let's discuss about the another important element, that is the summing point. So the summing point is been defined by the circle. It is been represented by circles having a cross inside it. Why we are having a cross? Because one cross the cross divides the complete circle into the 4 sections. That means we can have several multiple inputs to this, defining that this is one another section, this is input for another section, this is input for another section, then there is one output for this from this section. If we are having more than these, then still the block will be represented only by this only symbol, that is a circle with a cross. So it has 2 or more inputs and one single output. It produces the algebraic sum of the inputs. That is, for an example, if we are having the 2 inputs, that is A and B, with the positive signs, then the output will be equal to y is equal to A plus B. Similarly, if we are having the 2 inputs with A and B with plus and minus respectively, then the output will be equal to A minus B. And if we are having a more inputs, like for another example, we have input one more C. C is another input, then it will be y is equal to A plus B minus of C. A plus B minus of C. Now it also performs summation or subtraction or combination of summation and subtraction of inputs based on the polarity of the inputs. We have seen that this is the only performing the summation of the inputs, since the polarities are both are plus. In this, we are having the 2 inputs with one positive polarity and one with negative polarity. It is creating the subtraction for this operation, subtraction operation. Then we are having the one another input with the 2 positive polarities and one negative polarity. Then it is giving the combination of subtraction and summation operations. So depending on the polarities of the inputs, we decide the operation and the output is being decided. Now the another element is the takeoff point. Sometimes it is also called as takeaway point. The takeaway point or takeoff point both are same. Now look at this. Look at this diagram. Look at this block diagram. We are having one input RS, and from this node, we are having the 3 different inputs. We are having the 3 different inputs. 1, 2, and 3. That is the GA, GB, and GC are the 3 different transfer functions which are taking the same input RS. So this point, which is basically giving the same input to the different other sections of the block diagram. That is called as a takeoff point. So the takeoff point is a point from which the same input signal can be passed through more than one branch. That means with the help of takeoff point, we can apply the same input to one or more blocks or the summing points. I hope this is clear to you. Now look at this. The takeoff point is always not necessary that it is at the input side. It may also be at the output side. If you are having the feedback path, for a control system in which the output has to be sent as a feedback towards the input, then the takeoff point will act over there. That means look at this takeoff point. This is giving the output. It is passing the output to the input again. That is giving the output as a feedback to the input. So this is also a takeoff point. So it is not always necessary that it is only for the input sides. It is also for the output side. And it is been defined with denoted by the node. The takeoff point is denoted by the node, whereas the summing point is being denoted by the circle with the cross. I hope this is clear. Now, with a similar thing, the series connections and the parallel connections. The 2 blocks can be connected either in series or either in parallel. Now, depending on the type of the connections, how the series are being cascaded and how the parallels are being done, we will get the output accordingly. So look at this diagram in which the 2 transfer functions G1s and G2s are cascaded. They are connected in series, where Xs is the input to the first transfer function G1s and Z1, Zs, the output of the first transfer function is the input to the second transfer function, and the output of the second transfer function G2s is the Y of S. So rather than representing this, the complete control system into this form by the two blocks, we can eliminate or we can represent it with a single block like G1 into GS. Now how it has been coming? Let's see. Now for the combination, we will get the output YS. That is YS would be what? ZS into G2S. YS would be ZS into G2S, and ZS is what? XS into G1S. So when we substitute this XS into G1S into G2S, will give me the YS. That means YS will be equal to G1 into G2 into X of S. So that's why we can see that we are combining the two blocks by multiplying them into the single one, like this. So if we compare the equations with the standard form, we can say that G1 into G2 is equal to GS. This is the combined transfer function for this. I hope this is clear to you. Similarly, the parallel connections can also be drawn. Now look at this diagram. You can see that again we are having the two transfer functions, that is the G1s and the G2s, but now they are connected in parallel. And the output of the respective ones, Y1s and Y2s, are being summed at a summation point, and the net output is the YS. It has to be noted that both the transfer functions are having the same input, that is the XS. Now the blocks are connected in parallel will have the same input, obviously. In the following figure, the blocks having the transfer functions are connected in parallel. Now we can represent the parallel connection of the two blocks with a single block. The representation of these two blocks can be represented with a single block, and how it has been done. The output Y1s is equal to XS into G1s, and output Y2s is equal to G2s into XS. And here we are adding the two in outputs Y1s and the Y2s. So when we are getting the YS is equal to, we will write it G1s plus G2s into XS. And this complete combination, this equation can be replaced by a single block, that is the GS. So that is why we can say that when we are combining the two parallel blocks, we are adding the two blocks, and when we are connected in series, we are cascading the two blocks, we are multiplying the two blocks. So it has to be remembered that when we are going with the series connections, we have to do the multiplication of the blocks, and when we are going the parallel connections, we have to do the additions of the block. I hope this is clear to you now. Moving further towards the feedback connections. Now another important basic element for the building a block is the feedback connection. So we have discussed in the previous sections and the chapters that there are two types of feedbacks. One is the positive feedback and another is a negative feedback. Let me rejuvenate this concept. Look at this diagram. Look at this diagram. When we are giving the feedback from the output to the input with a negative polarity, it is being called as a negative feedback. It is called as a negative feedback. Whereas if we are giving it with the positive polarity, then it will be a positive feedback. So this following figure shows the negative feedback control system, and here the two blocks having the transfer functions GS and HS form a closed loop. They are forming a closed loop. So how to write the one complete transfer function for this one? Now I told you that transfer function is the ratio of the output upon the input. So if I write the transfer function of YS upon the XS, then how we will write it? Let us suppose that ES is the error signal, which is nothing but XS minus HS into YS. XS minus this feedback part. So this feedback is nothing but SS H of S into Y of S. So the output Y of S, what is the YS? It is equal to multiplication of each error signal with the transfer function GS or the plant equation GS. Now this plant equation can be of various types that we will discuss in the later sections. Now, when you substitute this ES, you will get it that YS is equal to XS minus HS into YS whole into multiplied with the G of X. So when I resolve this, I will be getting that the YS and the XS, that is the ratio of the output upon the input, which is called as the net transfer function of this complete block. The net transfer function of this complete block will be equal to GS upon 1 plus GS into HS. Therefore, this negative feedback closed loop transfer function is equal to GS upon 1 plus GSHS. This can be represented by this one block, that is X of S equal to Y of S GS upon 1 plus GS into HS. It has to be noted that when we are getting a negative feedback over here, we are getting a positive sign over here. And when we will be getting a negative positive polarity over here, we will be getting a negative sign over here. This has to be remembered. This is a short trick which can be used to remember the things. This equation, that when we are getting the negative polarity at the feedback, we will be getting the positive sign over this denominator side. And when we are getting the positive polarity at the summation feedback junction, then we will be getting the negative polarity, negative sign at the denominator of this transfer function. So the negative feedback closed loop transfer function is being shown to you. I hope this is clear to you. Now, there are two possibilities while resolving the block diagrams, or when we are discussing about the block diagram reduction techniques. Sometimes it is been demanded by during the reduction that we have to shift one block from one side to another side. For an example, if I would like to shift this summation block towards this side for the ease of simplicity of the reduction, or if I want to shift this takeaway point or the takeoff point back towards this the input side for the ease of reduction, for the ease of simplicity, or reducing the block diagrams, then how it is being done. So we can see that there are two possibilities of shifting the summing points. So first of all, we are discussing about when we are shifting the block diagram algebra for summing points, when we are shifting the summing point after the block and shifting the summing point before the block. That means when we are shifting this block after this block, we are having this block and we are shifting it from this end to this end. Or the second possibility is that we are having this the junction over here, the summation point over here, and we are transferring it before the block. Okay. Now let's see one by one. Now the shifting the summing point after the block. That means we are having this transfer. We are having this. Look at this. Look at this control system. We are having one input and another input is the XS, and I want this summation point to be shifted after this block GS. Now how it can be done? Consider the block shown in the figure. This here the summing point is present before the block. So the summing point has two inputs, the RS and the XS, and both are with the positive polarity. So the input of the block, that is the GS, is equal to RS plus XS. Obviously, if I do the multiplication, if I do the summation of these two, it will be RS plus XS. So this will be the input to this transfer function GS. Okay, this is your transfer function, or this we just simply call it as a block GS. So how I would be moving it towards the forward side. Now, before moving in further, I just want to give you a brief idea that it is very important the output always remaining the same. The output and the input should always remain the same. That means the output in the original control system YS should be same with the when we have shifted after shifting any of the block, either the summing point or the takeaway point, from the block towards or after, the output should always be remaining the same. So, and how it is being done? Let's see. Now look at this. When we have shifted, for an example, I have shifted this one over here block with the same, with the one input access. The RS is the same, and the access is okay. Is came over here. Now we know that in this equation, the access is giving B with the multiplication of GS. So if we are just simply move it over here, it will be a wrong equation. It will give me the wrong results. So how to do this correctly? So the input block GS is RS into XS. The output was in the original. Look at this. The output of this original was GS into RS plus XS. And GS RS plus GS into XS. I have just expanded this one. So after shifting, it has to be seen that this YS is what? GS into RS. Look at this. Look at this one. Look at this one. The output is what? GS into RS plus of XS. This is equation number 2. So can we say that both equations are same? No, we cannot say. The equation 1 is not equal to equation number 2. So how to solve it? How to make the two equations equal? By adding or by copying the same block in series or in series with this input access. By copying this block GS in series with the access. Is this clear? Then only. Now the output is GS into RS plus GS into XS will give me the XYS, which is exactly the similar to the original control system block. I hope this is clear to you. So remember one thing, when we are moving the summation point after the block, we have to multiply the input with the block which we are crossing. The block which we are crossing has to be multiplied with the input. Okay. To keep the outputs of the two equations exactly the same. Now another possibility was that if I would like to shift this summation block before the block. If I would like to shift this summation before the block, then how would it be? That means I am bringing it over here. Now how to do that? I can do this. Now how to do this? Let's discuss. The output of this block diagram of this, the output of this one is what? It is Y is equal to GS into RS plus XS. GS into RS plus XS. Now we have to keep this equation number 3 as it is similar when we have moved it towards this. That was in this side, in this one. Now look at this diagram number 2. We have shifted it, but we have not done any operation on this one. So the output, now look at this, the output is what? It is equal to GS into RS into GS into XS. Okay, this equation. Can we say that the equation number 3 and 4 are similar? No, we can't say. They are not equal. They are different. Now comparing the equation number 3 and 4, we can first term GSRS is same in both equations, but there is a difference in the second term. So in order to get the second term also same, we require one more block which is 1 upon GS. So it is having the input XS and the output of this block is being given as the input to the summing point instead of only XS. So what it will give me? It will give me XS upon GS. The output, this will be what? XS upon GS. So look at RS plus 1 upon gs into xs. So when I get the output ys, I will be getting the similar one. I will be getting the similar equation as of equation number 3. I hope this is clear to you now. Let's see. Now the next portion is what are the when we are shifting the takeaway points or the takeoff points before the block and after the block. Now again there are two possibilities when we are moving the takeoff point after the block, or the second possibility is that when we are shifting the takeoff point before the block. Now let's see how we are going to discuss them one by one. Now shifting the takeoff point after the block, look at this. We are having one takeoff point over here. We are having one takeoff point over here, and we want to bring it after the block. I want to move it over here. Can I do exactly right similar way? No, I can't. I have to do some operations. That means I have to bring it over here, keeping the output same as that of the previous output. These two outputs must be same. So the output of this was RS and XS. Both are same. Look at this. Look at this. RS and XS both are same. And YS is equal to GS into RS. GS into RS. So, but in this way, to keep the output same, we have to multiply, we have to shift this, copy this block over here, which is 1 upon GS, with the 1 upon GS to keep the output as XS only. Now, look at this, the output at this end. The output at this end is what? The output at this end is what? It is equal to RS into GS. And over here, the output, the input, this XS is what? Only RS. So we have to multiply this another block 1 upon GS with this input X, with this takeaway point to keep XS as similar. Is this clear? Now it's important to note or remember, it's very easy to remember that when we are taking away the takeoff point after the block, we have to do the division of the block which we are crossing. We have to do the division process for which the block we are crossing. And in summation point, when we are moving the summation point ahead of the block, we have to do the multiplication. So there is complementary. One, when we are shifting that summation block, we have to do the multiplication, and when we are shifting this takeaway point, we have to do the division with the block. Is this clear? Now, another possibility was when we want this takeaway point to move backward. When I want to move this takeaway point towards the backward, keeping that this XS to be same and YS to be same. Now, how to do that? That when we are moving this takeaway point towards this end, we have to multiply this block for the which we are crossing. We have to multiply with this takeaway feedback code with the block which we are crossing. So, in this, when we are crossing when we are moving from right to left, when we are moving the takeaway from right to left, we have to make the multiplication with the block which we are crossing. Whereas in the summation point, when we are bringing the summation point from right to left, we have to do the division. So again there is a contradiction. That is, when we are moving the summation point from right to left, that is before the block, we have to do the division operation. And when we are moving the takeaway point or the takeoff point from before the block, then we have to do the multiplication. Will you remember this one? It's very easy to remember. So in order to get the same access, we require one more block, that is the GS, and it is having the RS and output is access. Now, there are few rules that has to be remembered when we are discussing about the block diagram reductions. So in the block diagram reductions, we follow these 6 rules very strictly. Now what are those? Let's discuss them one by one. The rule number 1 says check the blocks connected in series and simplify. The very first rule is that we have to check the series connected blocks. So first of all, identify the series connected blocks and then simplify those one only. It's very easy to simplify the series connected blocks because we just need to do the multiplication of the blocks, series connected blocks. Is this clear? The second rule is that check for the blocks connected in parallel. The blocks which are connected in parallel and no another any block is there, there must be between these two. Okay, for an example, if you are having one block over here and we are having another block over here and both of these are being connected in parallel with another block, then we have to first apply the rule number 1. That is, we have to add these two. We have to solve these two series connected blocks. That is, multiply these two, and then after that we have to apply the rule number 2. We have to apply the rule number 2. That is, we will add the summation of these two, the multiplication of these two blocks with the summation of this one, by adding this one. Is this clear? Now, rule number 3 says that check for the blocks connected in feedback loop and simplify. Now, if you are having, so for an example, one block over here, another block over here, and we are having one feedback over here. We are having one feedback block. This is your feedback. Okay. Now, first of all, what we have to do? Think about it. We have to apply the rule number 1. There are two series connected blocks, and we have to simplify first these two, and then we will apply the feedback loop and simplify it. Is this clear? So, accordingly, rule to rule, you have to follow the rule number 1, then rule number 2, then rule number 3, and so on. Okay. Now, the rule number 4. If there is difficulty with the take of point while simplifying, shift it towards the right. That means if we are having any takeoff point over here and it's very difficult to solve the or to reduce the block, then it's better to take it towards the right side. Similarly, if there is any difficulty with the summation point, for an example, if we are having a summation point over here, okay, so it's better to bring that summation points towards the left side. Okay, is this clear? So, if you are having any difficulty while moving, then it's better to shift it towards the left side. The rule number 6 says that repeat the above steps till you get the simplified form, that is a single block. Until and unless you won't get a single block, try to solve it, simplify it by following the 6 rules again and again. Keep it in a loop. Okay, until you get a single block or a transfer function. It has to be noted that a transfer function represents in this single block is a transfer function of the overall block diagram. Okay, the one I was talking about, the single block, it is representing the transfer function of the overall block diagram, this complete overall block diagram. It doesn't matter how many block diagrams, how many blocks were there, how many transfer functions inside were there. When we simplify it in the complete one, we will get one single block, and that will be your overall transfer functions of the system. I would better to say technically that it will be the overall transfer functions of the complete system or the network. Is this clear? I wish you have no doubts in this. Now let's move further. Now discuss them one by one. I will give you more introduction. That this is a block in which we are having one input and one output X2S. the x2s will be equal to gs into x1s. This is one simple block. Now the summer is called when we are having the different inputs with the different polarities and only one output. And only one output. So the output would be equal to x1s minus x2s plus x3s minus x4s. The x2 and x4 are having the negative polarities, where x1 and x2 are having the positive polarities. Now look at this pick-off point. The pick-off point or the take-off point is the point from which we can give the same input to the different blocks, inputs to the different block. That is called as a pick-off point. Now the series connection is that when we are having the two series connected blocks, that is the G1s and G2s, and we are having one input, then it can be resolved into one equivalent single block, that is a multiplication of the two blocks. That is the G1 into G2. Similarly, if we are having the two parallel connected blocks, then it is very simply, directly we can convert it into a single block. We can reduce this into a single block, that is G1s plus minus G2s. This plus minus is depending on this polarity, on these polarities. Okay. Another thing was that if we are having one feedback path, feedback closed loop, then we can represent this complete block diagram into a single unit, into a single block, representing the transfer function of this complete system. That will be equal to gs upon 1 minus plus gs into hs. Now you look at this. I've told you this will be minus plus. Why? And because when we are giving the negative polarity over here, then it will be positive, plus sign will come over there. When we are giving the positive polarity over here, it will give you the negative sign. So when we are having the plus minus over here in the feedback path, then we will be having the minus plus in this equation. So this has to be remembered. Don't get confused in this one. Remember this one. Okay. Most of the students do the mistakes of within this only. So always avoid such type of silly mistakes. Now, when we are insertion or removal of unity gain, so for an example, we are having no gain over here, and if we want to insert a unity gain, then we just need to implement one block with the value of 1, with a gain of 1. Similarly, when we are changing the summer sign, that is, if we want to change the summer sign over here, I want it to be negative 1, then I will multiply with the negative 1, minus 1 with this inputs. Similarly, moving the pick-off point towards the backward, I've told you that if I want to move this pick-up point or the takeoff point towards this side, I have to do what? I have to do the multiplication of the same block of which I am crossing. So I have crossed this G1 block, so I have multiplied this over here. Now when we are moving this takeoff point after the block, then again we have told you that we are moving the after block, then we have the block which we are crossing, we have to divide it with the same block. So we have divided with the same block. The combining or expanding the summations. So for an example, we are having the two blocks over here, two summation points, plus with the two inputs over here and two inputs over here. Then I can convert into a single summation point in this way. Now, if you are having the combining or expanding the junctions, now if I want to expand this junction, then how I can do this? I can do it like this way. This is a common junction. These two are the common junction. Then there is no any other block between these. Then I can combine these two complete junction or expand this junction. Is this clear? If I will be having this, I will combining this, and here I will be expanding. Similarly, when we are moving the pick-off point behind the summation point, now when we are moving the summation point behind this summation point, this is a takeoff point and we are moving it towards this side, then it is necessary that we have to add one of the summation point over here, giving me the values exactly which it was giving with this side. That is the x1s minus of x2s. So x1s, the input will be taken up from this, the input will be repeated for this summation point, and x2s will be repeated for this summation point. I hope this is clear to you. Now another one thing is that when we are moving this pick-off point after the summation point over this side, then again from the two inputs, that is the x1s and an x2s, we have to take the one input from this side and the one input from the output of this one. So giving me the x1s as the output over here. I hope this is clear to you. Now let's see the MCQs for this. Now consider this, the very first question, consider the block diagram for this. If the transfer function of the given system is T of S, then it is equal to G1S plus G2, G3 upon 1 plus X. Then what is the value of X? We have to identify the value of X. Try to solve it. The methods I have already told you for solving the two summation points, for solving the cascading and block reduction techniques. We will discuss the solutions in the after this one. Now, look at this question number 2. We are having the block diagram given in the following figure, and the expression for the C by R is, the C by R is the ratio of the output upon input. That is the transfer function. We have to find out the transfer function C by RS, CS upon RS. So I have told you that first of all, what we have to do, we have to, can we apply the rule 1? Can we apply the rule 1 directly? No, we cannot apply the rule 1 directly over here because we are having a takeoff point over here. There are two ways to solve this. First of all, either we bring this takeoff point towards this side. So, but that will be too complicated. So always it's better that we can solve it. We can solve the feedback path, and then we solve the net equivalent transfer function in cascading with this G3. So the next transfer function, the output will be equal to what? G1 G2 upon 1 plus G1 G2 into G3. So it will be G1 G2 G3 upon 1 minus G2 G1. Answer A would be the answer. I can directly solve it by looking to the diagram. You can also try. You can also get this technique once you do a lot of practice for this thing. Now let's see the another question. Look at this question number 3. Look at this question number 3. In this question number 3, you can see the transfer function from ds to ys is what? You have to identify the ds to ys. That is, we are having one disturbance over here. We are having one input and we are having one output. So we have to find out the relationship between the output and the disturbance. The ratio between the disturbance with the output. Here it is. It must be ys. Here it must be ys. Something is missing over here. So consider it as ys. Output as cs is equal to ys. Okay. How to do this? Keeping this rs neglected. Okay. In the fourth question, the closed loop gain of the system is shown to you. The closed loop gain has to be found out. The closed loop gain has to be found out. That is the net equivalent gain of the transfer function, net equivalent transfer function. So find out the CS upon RS, you will get the closed loop gain. Now, next question is that the advantage of the block diagram representation is that it is possible to evaluate the contribution of each component to overall performance of the system. This statement is true or false. You have to find out whether this statement is true or false. That is, the advantage of the block diagram representation is that it is possible to evaluate the contribution of each component to overall performance of the system. Think about it and then reply it later. The overall transfer function, next question is that the overall transfer function from block diagram reduction for cascaded blocks is the sum of individual gains, product of individual gains, difference of individual gains, or division of individual gains. We will discuss the solutions later. The next question is that the overall transfer function of the two blocks in parallel are sum of the individual gains, product of the individual gains, difference of individual gains, division of individual gains. I have told you, when we are having the two blocks in parallel, what do? We do what? We do the summation of the individual gains or the difference of the individual gains. It depends. It depends whether the gains which are being are there are being with the positive polarities or the negative polarities. But in general, if no such polarity questions is been given or polarity thing is been defined in the question, then it is always to consider with the positive signs, positive polarities. So the answer of this solution will be the first one, A. In questions, it may be it is a misleading question, but the trick is that you have to assume the positive signs only. Don't use the negative signs. Now the eighth question is that the transfer function of the system is defined as the ratio of the Laplace output to the Laplace input considering the initial conditions. The transfer function is defined as the Laplace output to the Laplace input, that is the Cs upon Rs. What are the initial conditions? What are the initial conditions are there? You have to identify. Think about it. We'll discuss it later. Now the next question. Now look at this block diagram. You have been given that the gains for each of the block is given to you. That is G1, G2, H1 and H2 are given to you. The overall transfer function has to be identified. So you have to use the block diagram reduction technique in this. First of all, what you will do? You will solve this loop, smaller loop. I think there is one mistake in this question. This will be, arrow will be this way. Okay, this will be a feedback path. So the arrow will be this way. Consider it this way. Now look at this. You have to apply the block diagram reduction technique in this and identify the overall transfer functions. Now the last question is that the oscillations in the output response is due to what? The oscillations in the response, these oscillations in the response, that is the C of t with respect to the time period, these oscillations are due to what? The positive feedback, negative feedback, no feedback, none of the mentioned. Identify this, we will discuss it in later, in the next section, in the next class. Thank you everyone.